And happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining me live for the Small Business Marketing Q&A show. I am your host, Rebecca Bertoldi, and today we are talking about Facebook ads. This is a subject that many people are having some trouble with, but Facebook ad system can be very powerful. So I'm going to show you how to take advantage of it. So, before we dive in, I would love to ask everybody that's watching to please follow along. Whichever platform you are finding this on, hit the subscribe or follow button so that you make sure that you are getting updates on everything that we're putting out there. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook. So the reality is that the Facebook algorithm, the ad system algorithm, I should say, is watching every little move that we make, and it knows um, a lot of the things that we're doing that we may not necessarily say we're doing. We're just taking those actions, so it has those little data points. However, after this last update and after Apple updated all of its privacy and its security settings, Facebook has actually lost a bunch of those data points. So we can no longer rely on like any kind of broad targeting because it just doesn't have what it used to. So how do we get around that? Well, luckily, there are some quick and easy ways that we can do that. So, first, I want to stress that we need to really understand our audience. Know who it is that you're talking to. And don't be one of those people that say, I can help everybody, so I target everyone. I know you can help everybody, but you have a superpower within you that can really help some people better than others. So, hone into your superpower there. We really want to connect with what you have and your unique selling point, really. We want to connect, and we want to make sure that anything we're putting out there is directly talking to the audience that you want to work with. So again, it's okay if you can help everybody, but we're not going to help everybody. There's really people that we have the special power to help the most. So that can be one audience, or that can be a couple different audiences, because we don't want to talk to everybody the same way either. For example, if you are, let's say you help women, right? And obviously women can be various ages. We would not talk to a woman in her 30s the same way we would talk to a woman in her 60s. So we want to make sure that we're breaking up these audiences to really hone in and message and get the messaging right for each of those targets. So how we want to approach that is really figuring out what their pain points are and what it is that they're going to be searching for. So let's come up with an example here. So for marketing, if I was reaching out to, let's say, a brand new life coach, I would talk to that person differently than I would to somebody who's got a bunch of events under their belt, that already has a following and everything else. And I want to see where it is that they are spending their time so I can then uh, target that place, or where it is that they're spending time. So with a brand new life coach, for example, I would maybe find them following the institute that they studied with. I could maybe find them in following some other marketers. So there's some, big names out there, some well-known marketers that have done very well for themselves. Hell, that I learn from them all the time too. So I know that if they are following them and they're, in the targeting and they're showing as a life coach, that I likely have a life coach that's trying to work an online business. So how can you put those pieces together for your audience? So let's maybe take another example here. Let's see. Let's say you are an insurance person. So if you are able to sell, let's say, auto insurance and homeowners insurance and um, business insurance, okay? So those three things, we wouldn't just put an ad out there that says, "Hi, I offer home, auto, and business insurance." No. The business insurance, we would target people that have a business. And maybe, sometimes you have to experiment with this for your own, but sometimes I notice that, like, say Facebook's, where people can put in their titles, they're not always filling that out, but they are following people who are trying to run a business or trying to show you how to run a business. So think about that. What areas are they spending the most time in? So if you are selling insurance, if you do your auto insurance, maybe it's people that are shopping for a new car, or maybe it's people that, have just started following, let's say that maybe it's a parent with a kid that's a teenager. You can target all of these things in Facebook and really create a robust audience for yourself. So after you really get to learn your audience a bit and really get the targeting down, then we can move on to the language of the ad. And this is where, Facebook really wants us to be in a shiny, happy world of rainbows and sunshine. Okay. Remember that. If you're one of my coaches tuning in right now, think of it as if you were writing an affirmation. That's how your ad copy needs to be. It needs to stay positive. It needs to promote the good benefits of using your product or service. We don't necessarily want to hear all the features. Um, so, for example, our life coaches that are promoting events all the time, we're not necessarily saying, come to the event and I'm going to teach you how to do how to visualize, how to set your goals and things like that. We're talking about outcomes. So you come to these events and you're going to learn how to overcome your fear, how to move forward on your goals even when it feels impossible. Think about how you can turn those into really exciting benefits versus the features that you are offering. And we want to paint a picture, get people to really think about how their life is going to be different after they work with you. How is it that how is their world going to change? We want to put that out there. Like, nobody wakes up thinking, you know what? I think I will attend an online course today. Let me go find one. That's not how that works. It works when we are putting something out there that we know our audience cares about and we know it's one of their goals. It's something that they're thinking about before they fall asleep. It's something that they think about during the day. Maybe it's something they're at work and all they can think about is having their own business. So how do we tap into that? When we run our Facebook ads, we want to make sure of a few things as well. As you're setting up the campaign, make sure that you're using an objective that matches what you want to get back. And if you're putting out a form and you want people to opt in, make sure that you're not asking for more information than what you're delivering after they fill out that form. For example, if somebody is going to download your ebook, we do not need their address and their phone number and, their firstborn's name or anything like that. Keep it simple. It's an ebook. It has to match what you're delivering. So if it's a simple contact form, yeah, we want, if they're going to set an appointment with you, you want their first name, last name, email, phone number. Sure. If it's something where they're going to end up doing more work with you, or they're signing up for some kind of assessment or evaluation, yeah, get ready to, they can answer a lot more questions in that case because they already at that point know you and are more comfortable with you. So they're going for a bigger investment with you. And whether that investment is time or money, it's a bigger investment, so you can ask for more information on the form. But please do not ask for so much information when you're just giving away a checklist or an ebook. That can be a very big deterrent. So make sure that what you're asking matches what you're providing. When you're choosing the type of ad that you want to run, this is where things can get a little tricky. Facebook makes it so easy to boost your posts. But I have news for you. Boosting posts makes Facebook money. So just keep that in mind. I have seen it work on the rare occasions for nonprofits usually. So that could be something to definitely test. However, if you are putting something out there and then putting all this time and energy into creating that ad and then you boost it, what's happening is you're telling Facebook, because the boost ad is what they call an engagement ad, and it's designed to get people to engage with your post or your event, or something like that. So it's not meant to get people to take action outside of Facebook or sign up to be a lead. The boosts, they just don't do anything for you for the most part, in my experience. Some people may have different results, and that's fine, but just know that the boost is designed to keep people on Facebook, engage with your post or event, and it really makes Facebook money. When you are looking for people to take action, keep this in mind as well. You will get rewarded for keeping people on Facebook. Let me say that again. I'll repeat it. You will get rewarded for keeping people on Facebook. So if you have an ebook that you want to promote, consider doing a lead generation ad on Facebook. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. People can opt in. They will give you their name and email address. Remember, we want to keep it simple for things like ebooks. They'll give you their name and email address right on Facebook. It's a little form that pops up, keeps them on Facebook. It autofills for them because it has their Facebook data. And I've seen great results with this kind of campaign versus sending somebody off of Facebook to opt in for the ebook. Definitely try the lead generation type of ad. It's going to require that you create a form, and the form will have requirements such as you need to have a privacy policy built in on your website so that you can link right to it. But they're pretty easy to put together. Once you have that form, it's going to collect all that information in the back end of Facebook, but you can also connect it directly to your email system. So the way this process would work is the user would come to your ad. They would be so excited about the ad because you just wrote it to entice them, and it's all happy and yeah. And then they get this form, which autofills for them their first name, last name, email. They click next. It shows them that there's terms and privacy policies that they have the option to read. And then once they complete that, they say okay. They have the option to, you can either give them a link to go get an instant download, or if it is connected to, say, like MailChimp, it will automatically load them into MailChimp, and you can have an automation there that will deliver that email. This is kind of a little funnel, It's easy. That's probably the easiest way to set it up with the lead forms is with MailChimp because it does integrate directly, but you can use any other platform that you need to with Zapier. So think about something like that. If you are promoting an event or something where people do have to come off of the Facebook page in order to sign up, there are some things that you can do in there that will make your campaign perform even better. Excuse me. So think about if you are sending somebody off of Facebook, we want that landing page to be so compelling. Facebook, again, will be a little hesitant because it doesn't want people to leave Facebook. So when we get people to this page, it really has to capture them right from the moment they see it. So make sure that we have a big, headline that's calling out to your audience. Maybe it's asking a very compelling question. And when you set up the campaign in Facebook, make sure that you're using the conversion style of campaign. That's your objective, is conversions. And Facebook needs to know when this conversion happens. And this is done through tracking tags and stuff like that. But the easiest way to do it is you can put your tracking tag right on the page that will load after they have completed the registration. So it's usually like the thank you or confirmation page. You put that tag on there and boom, Facebook knows that that action has taken place. Now, there are other ways to track. They do get a bit more complicated, and I don't know that I can actually explain them to you without you seeing them. But if anybody needs help with the more complex tracking, I can try to record a screen share video for you. But make sure that your tracking is set up and that Facebook knows those actions are taking place, because then it will find more people like that who are taking the action. Just as an example, many of you know that I work with the one and only Lauren Brolier, and she recently did we were doing another campaign for an evergreen webinar. And we noticed that she had set it up a little bit differently because she wanted different options that came from the actual presentation software, similar to like a Zoom. And because we did not have that ability for Facebook to know when the actions were taking place, it performed horribly. Where her other campaigns typically perform really well, we can see right away that the ads are working, that she's getting a lower cost per acquisition of $5 or less. But this one, it just didn't know what to do with itself. The algorithm had no idea how to find the people that you need because it was stuck on knowing exactly when the action was taking place. So just keep that in mind. If we tell Facebook when things are happening, it'll perform better for you. Otherwise, it's just guessing. It's throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. you know. So that's another tip. Make sure that you're using the campaign objectives the way they should be used. The algorithm. The only thing I've seen that's not really working as well as it used to is the traffic ads. And this is really just sending people to your site. But I think they figured out that the conversion ads, which do cost a little bit more per acquisition, per lead, I think they figured out that one, they can make more money on it. At the end of the day, Facebook is a business. It is trying to make money on us. So if we can follow some of these rules, it will help the algorithm to better support our ads. Lastly, when you are writing your ad copy, stay away from any kind of like really spammy words. So in Facebook's world, it's definitely, it can be tricky. I'm not going to lie, because Facebook definitely wants it to be all, like I said, rainbows and sunshine. But sometimes we want to point out pain points, right? Because we know that when people are in pain or when they're in distress is when they're going to take action. So how do we point that out without upsetting the algorithm? And sometimes it's not even like, they'll deny the ad and you have to try again. They just won't send any traffic to it. So we want to watch the impressions that we're getting on these ads, as even if they're approved and you think that maybe Facebook's going to be upset about it, we want to make sure that we're watching the impressions, because the impressions will tell us if Facebook is kind of limiting the reach because it doesn't like what it says in the ad. And know that Facebook, when you do put your destination link in, it's also looking at the copy on your landing page. Just know that too. So you want your ad and your landing page to align with Sunshine and Rainbows Land for Facebook. So the way that we get around those pain points is presenting. Again, we want to get people to really visualize and see what it's going to be like once that problem that they're having is out of the way. So how do we show them that? So we can show them by example. The way that we can bring up some of these pain points is through sharing client stories or sharing your own story. As long as you're not saying, if you are feeling depressed or if you are feeling anxious, if you are feeling stuck in life, those are the things Facebook doesn't like. But what you can say is, I remember a point when I was just feeling so stuck in my life, I didn't know where to turn. And you just continue your story like that, and you can really, get people to connect with you on that emotional level. Because at the end of the day, we buy based on emotions. It is an emotional decision. As much as we may want to see that logic is coming into place, and there are people out there that are just going to respond to the logic, definitely. But we are making decisions, especially when we're purchasing something on a personal level, like life coaching services or something like that. It's an emotional decision. So if we can't connect with them the way we want to and bring out that emotion, then it's going to be harder to get them to sign up for what you're offering. So think about it as anything that you really want to point out those pain points, it's storytelling. We need to tell the stories of clients. We need to tell them how we are seeing those problems come about in our business and how we're correcting them or helping to ease that pain for people. We also want to drive home that you are the person for the job. Without your help, it's not going to happen for them. You want to be confident in your ads, but also make that emotional connection. I'm not saying this is easy. I have been studying this for a decade now, and finally, the algorithm's going to change. It's always going to change. There's always going to be something. And right now we're just dealing with a new change that has happened that we have to adjust to. So as we're doing that, again, Facebook does not have the data points that it did a year ago or even 6 months ago. A lot of that was closed off to them. So we have to get better at understanding our audience and let Facebook's algorithm know when people are taking the action we want so that it knows who else to send our way. So let's see, a couple other suggestions I have for creating your ads. You can try different headlines, and now we are actually able to see, like if you put multiple headlines in to test, it'll serve them up and it'll see which one people are reacting to. But now we actually have that data to go by to say, oh, okay, this is what was working. Great. We can create more like that. So test those headlines out. If you want to see the results of those, you can, if you go into your ad data, the campaign data, and click on columns and custom columns, almost towards the bottom, if you you're looking for ad creative, and you check that off, and it'll show you what the headlines is, the headline that is performing best is, and that'll be on the ad set level, or sorry, on the ads level. So all of these tools that you have to create better ads are all available within Facebook. Their targeting, the targeting list seems to grow all the time. It's just a matter of what data that they actually are able to hang on to. Oops, sorry about that. So now we can take a look at making sure that our audience is ready, that we know who they are, that we understand what their pain points are. We're going to write copy that speaks to the outcomes and the benefits of working with you, or signing up for your service, getting your product, whatever that is. And we're going to make sure that we stay in the happy, shiny world of sunshine and rainbows when we're writing our ad copy, so that the algorithm wants to share our post. So all of these things will help you to create way better performing ads. If you have any questions, write them, right here in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer. And I hope that this has helped you with your Facebook ads. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I appreciate the moments that you have spent here. And if you have questions, make sure that you're submitting them, because my goal is to answer all of your questions so that we can all learn together. I hope you have a wonderful day and a fabulous week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.